Okay, so this is not exactly what I was anticipating. INFPs like to dream. He's wearing this blouse. He did Wonka. I listened to him singing the song. He does a good job. He's got a pretty little voice, quite masculine. And boom goes the dynamite. Series of typing celebs with MBTI. If you're not familiar, is there another anything? Cool. G'day, mates. Hello. This is my actual voice, but that's just a lot of fun. So, my name is Brynmore. I'm going to be doing today a series of videos that involve live typing celebrities or well-known people. I'm going to be using the MBTI system, so if you're familiar with that, congratulations, you're in the right place. If you're not familiar with it, I highly recommend going and looking up a video that talks about that, explains it. I am going to be using some other things, specifically some Jungian functions, so if I'm using some lingo that you're not familiar with, don't focus too much on it. You know, you maybe will learn something by osmosis, but for the most part, I'm going to be keeping things MBTI verbiage. So that being said, I'm doing this live because I kind of wanted to show the way that you can type people live. I'm gonna try to choose people that I'm not that familiar with or that I don't have a good understanding of what their type is. Specifically, I'm going to try to not think too hard about these people before. Now, I might have my assumptions, my preconceived notions, and that's fine. The important thing is to try to ignore your preconceived notions so as to not be biased and so you don't miss anything. So that being said, without further ado, sorry if that was loud. Today's subject is going to be Timothee Chalamet. I don't know much about this fella. I've obviously seen him in a couple things. So just to go right off the bat, the very, very, very little that I know about Mr. Chalamet. There he is. Hello. He's a little eccentric. He's got like an introverted bent. But he's also an actor, so there's some extroversion that can kind of come along with that. I don't think I've ever seen him speak in interviews. So that's what a lot of this is going to be. Looking in his interviews, seeing how he actually talks, not acts. I know how he acts. Just getting to know him. So let's watch this first video that comes up. Oh, preconceived notions. I get a lot of FI energy from him. So that would mean either INFP or ISFP. There's something about him that's a little bit sensory. There's something about him that's a little bit intuitive. So yeah, INFP, ISFP, one of those would be my preconceived notions, my assumptions. So let's check this out. Look, I've already started playing this video. Let's see.
Hi, my name is Miko Saad. I'm from Egypt. Hi guys, it's Miko Saad with the Timmy Man. Hey Timmy.
Whoa, the Timmy Man. I like that. The
bro.
Timmy Man.
Yeah.
That's
we should do
nice.
like this.
Yeah, we can have a whole little handshake like LeBron James.
So first of all, congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
You did amazing.
Man.
I love I want it to be Marty Supreme. That's how good it was.
Man, that makes me feel so good. And Josh Safdie, the director, he would love hearing that. That's the kind of movie we were trying to make, where you leave the theater and you're like, man, you know, the attitude of the movie you wanna rub off on you.
Amazing, man. Like, he's a dreamer, he's a winner, he's trying, he's ambitious, he's like to his craft. Tell me what the similarity between Timothee Chalamet and Marty Supreme.
Well, I feel like in my early 20s I can relate to this character
For me?
deeply. Hopefully now I've chilled out a little bit.
Since I don't know the
thank
character
God, because I would have, you know, my neurological system would have collapsed.
Okay, so this is not exactly what I was anticipating. Right off the bat, when he first comes in, it's so funny. He's almost, other than his look, other than the sweater vest, but his facial features are very, and the way he's acting is almost very Eminem-like, the rapper Eminem, which is really interesting because Eminem's an ISTP, right? So So he's got that TI first, and then the auxiliary or secondary extroverted sensing, and then that kind of goes along with I was saying ISFP has that auxiliary or secondary extroverted sensing. So that's interesting. And then he says neurologic. He's talking about his neurological system, which is, other than being coming out of nowhere, I guess that could be it. It could be FI, it could be TI as well, though. So maybe there's a TI energy. Let's see what else he goes.
The passion for Marty for table tennis, the drive to succeed, the closed-mindedness towards any path in life.
He's looking
you know,
down,
the closed-mindedness
like,
to the
talks and
middle
thinks.
path of life that leads to
So he's not
nowhere.
making
I
eye
could really
contact.
relate to that, to the degree that when I was in college or my parents or people, you know, and actually now it does seem like good advice they were giving me where they say, hey, have a plan B, have a plan C, plan D. You're like, no, but any energy that goes to a plan B is taking away from my plan A.
Let's
And
go.
particularly with acting, that's like an existential.
Okay, that's actually super interesting. He's talking about having plan Bs and having plan As and wanting to put all of his energy into plan A. Okay, I might have found the perfect video to do this with. That's not something that I think an INFP is gonna do. I mean, if there's something connects with them moralistically or deeply, or they're driven emotionally by something, then an INFP can just go hardcore all at something, but they're not gonna necessarily think of it this way, where, oh, but I'm not gonna do my plan B. Because in my experience, INFPs, they have plan Bs and plan Cs, and it's not that they're B or C, it's more that they're sectionalized. Like, oh, here's what I'm mainly doing, but there's also some of this, there's some of that, because that's NE, right? That's like, I'm ready for any possibilities. But he's literally talking here about how he's going all out with his plan A. Honestly, I now am, and he's not talking about the feeling of it at all. He's talking about the experience of it, the need for it. That feels a very TI to me, which kind of goes along with that attitude of Eminem, ISTP, with TI being ISTP and INTP's dominant function or primary function. So that's super interesting. Let me see if he goes on about this, and then I'll change the video and see what else I can find.
Existential crisis, because you're often waiting around, you know, to.
He
I
doesn't like
remember
waiting.
auditioning for a movie called The Neon Demon because, and I dropped out
His
of
body
college
language is
at that
very
point, and that was like my
specific.
thing of the week. So it's different than being, you know, something with your hands where you can go, okay, I'm dropping out of college, I'm immediately working. You know, you're at the behest of casting, and that's the memory I just came to me right now, like doing the Neon Demon audition.
So
That was-
okay, this is also interesting. He recognizes the social system, in this case casting, which to me has an FE energy about it, which would be an ISTP's fourth function. Not to say that any other type wouldn't say something similar, but the way he talks about it, you're at the behest of casting. There's a social system, so he recognizes it, and then he admits to being able to operate within it. So that's like, to me, that's a very FE awareness. Yeah, okay. I love this. This video is perfect for me.
was my week I spent on that, and you don't get it, but you persevere, you know.
Persevere,
Thankfully, I'm
TI,
very lucky.
SE.
So I don't want to speak out of turn or anything, but yeah.
No, man, I love your commitment to your.
So when he's done talking, he immediately just focuses back in because he's not thinking anymore, so he can actually make eye contact again.
Happy with Timmy, but I'm not happy
Alright,
with Marty
okay.
Supreme.
After this video, the 2 minutes of it, I met ISTP.
Because he,
I met ISTP for him. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so now I like to think, okay, if I'm thinking ISTP, what could I do to disprove that? So let's try to cut out INFP in this case. INFPs like to dream. Let's see if Timothee Chalamet talks anything about dream. Oh my God, look at this video. Okay, hold on. Hold the phone. He is literally looking the most ISTP I've ever seen anyone in this video. What is this?
Been on, very humbling for me. Yeah, I just wanted to like make sure that we're all, like I said, aligned because I'm so excited. Like when I wake up every morning, I think culmination,
Is this from...
integration, like all of us,
Is
and
this his
fruition,
character?
fruitionizing, which is not a word, obviously, but fruitionizing the release of this movie, like really making sure it comes out in a great way. And I'm not even.
He's even got a little necklace that's very SE. And the wife beater. Mustard wife beater. Very SE.
Josh Safdie and where he's at, and that we're in service to Josh Safdie. Because when I think heaven knows what, I think schwa.
I mean, he literally did an Eminem. I mean, that's Eminem. What?
When I think Good
Does he have-
Time,
is-
which obviously came out after.
Unless that's his character. Maybe that's his character. All right, here's another fun one. Timothee Chalamet. What's something? Now let's move on to... here's another fun thing. You can invert the types. So what's their opposite? So the opposite of an ISTP, they're going to have a lot in common if you look in the right way. So ISTP opposite would be ENFJ. So what's something that ENFJs are super... ethics and activism. Does Timothee Chalamet do any activism? Talks Brittany Broski in winning SAG Best Actor. Chalamet Festival Voices. Okay, sure. What's this clip?
I learned to always be true to yourself.
True to yourself.
I like
Yeah,
when there's good
Sure,
characters and a
FIG.
good plot and a good script. I love it. I love it. I'm coming. I'm gonna go back over there right now. I'm gonna go back over there right now.
Good characters, good plot, good script. Characters, plot, script. I mean, to me that's like the facts. That's the core. That's what is a movie. If it's good and he cares about quality, that's SE, sure. I mean, I'm saying stuff anyone. It could apply to anybody. But the way he talks about it, good characters, good plot, good script. Done. Don't need anything else. If it's good, if it has those, I'm in. That's super interesting. He's not talking about, it's got to be a story that means something. Or even an ISFP might be like, it's got to touch something in me, right? So here, what should I? All right, let's look for more. 60 Minutes. Let's see what they do on 60 Minutes. We're going to jump right halfway in. Most watched, sure. Let's see what's most watched.
Lee rightfully was wary growing
Before that.
And family call him booked
All
occasionally.
right, so here's another huge thing. It's talking about his childhood here. That's super useful. Always a good thing when you're typing to look at childhood.
Subsidized apartment complex in Manhattan
therapy.
full of artists.
Oh, Izzy.
Artists.
How you doing,
What are you
man?
doing here? What's
Oh
going
man,
on, man?
doing a little interview,
Good to
baby.
see you.
Growing up in this building certainly seems to have made an impression.
Very,
This building, truthfully,
Very
made me scared of
TISE,
acting
yeah.
because it's
It's
a
a whole
tough lifestyle.
aesthetic.
A lot of people, aren't doing.
It's a hard way. It's a hard way to make a
Fantastic.
he's
living.
not super emotive with his face, which would be FE, but he knows how to be. He's very sociable. He knows how to use his face when it's necessary.
Actress and Timmy,
His
as
sister
his
looks just
friends
like
and
him. What
family
the heck?
call him, booked occasional acting jobs as a child.
I mean, I think I've
Told
pretty much
us he really
decided.
wanted to be a professional soccer player. This is him
Soccer
on Law
players
and Order when
very-
he was 12.
Could you please not tell Mom and Dad about us playing Xbox?
But his father, Marc Chalamet, a French journalist, wasn't exactly pushing him to act.
My dad, I think he very, very, very correctly, rightfully was wary growing up.
Oh,
It's
no, there's almost-
place for a child. It really isn't. You know, the cameras, the people
He
going,
almost
hey,
looks
do the
ENTP-ish
thing
here.
where we
INTP-ish.
recognize you as cute in your own head.
Extroverted.
I think my dad was more just like, be normal.
These days, that's easier said than done.
Huge Bob Dylan fan. That was amazing.
Oh, there's an
appreciate it,
ESTP. Maybe I
Went
have
to
it
get a
wrong.
slice of pizza.
Maybe
he
I have
told
it wrong.
us a
Maybe he's
turning point
extroverted.
in his life was getting into LaGuardia High School, a famously competitive public school for the performing arts.
It's a school that champions the arts. So there I doubled down. I was not a distracted kid as a teenager, like maybe to a fault. You know, I wasn't like
Okay.
partying or, I don't say that.
And okay, and boom goes the dynamite. He was not a distracted kid, or as an adult. He was very focused. What does he say? I got to put this in quotes, man.
A famously competitive public school for the performing arts.
It's a school that champions the arts. So there I doubled down. I was not a distracted kid as a teenager, like maybe to a
There I doubled down. I was not a distracted kid as a teenager, like maybe to a fault. My camera stopped recording. I think the battery got too low and it just stopped, and it recorded for 15 minutes and I kept going for another 15. I'm just gonna pick up where I left off. Boom goes the dynamite. ISTP, case friggin' closed. I went on to say about how he talks about, I still have the quote up right here. I doubled down. I was not distracted kid as a teenager, like maybe to a fault. Super ISTP. The SE is driving his motivation, but the TI as a dominant is driving his drive. It's making him so focused. He knows what he wants. He knows how to get it. That's a huge thing for ISTPs. Once they understand what they want, how they see themselves in the world, they go for it. They get it almost at all costs. Absolutely. By the way, I noticed a couple other things watching this back. The clip where he's wearing that mustard wife beater, just such an ISTP. All right, so basically I go on, and I'm just going to move through my own clips here. Let's see. I go on to... Oh, I say case closed. I go on to look up what other people seem to say about him. I'm going to edit this to cut it, make it nice and quick here for you. I type Timothee Chalamet, MBTI. It pops up. It says INFP. I say, what are you smoking, people on the internet? If you're responsible for putting Timothee Chalamet as an INFP, you should check yourself, because you just wrecked yourself. No, I understand. When I opened this video, I said INFP or ISFP again. I saw him in Dune. I saw him in some weird, what was it, a cannibal movie or something? A cannibal movie. And I saw him in maybe a few other things here and there. I think he was dating I'm sorry. Zendaya. I think it's Zendaya. I used to say Zendaya, and I was corrected enough times to know to say Zendaya. I hope that's right. And the only reason I knew to do him today, no pun intended, no, was because I guess he came up something with what's her face, Kylie Jenner. They were together or something. That's what I understand. Anyway, INFP, no, bad. I understand it though. He has a little bit of a persona. Oh, he was in the Wonka. He was at the Wonka thing. I didn't see it, but he did Wonka. I listened to him singing the song. He does a good job. He's got a pretty little voice. Anyway, super interesting. Not an INFP. I get why people would say that. I would also understand people saying ISFP. I typed here searching, saying, what about ISTP? And Google AI is like, the internet says this, and whatever. Someone here says ISFP. That's pretty good. Ooh, start an IQ test. Oh, here's someone talking about, and says ENFP? That's absurd. Saying ENFP would be absurd. SINE, and I read this guy say, more FI than TE. He says ISFP. No, that's wrong. But this guy down here says ENTP, ESTP. Mwah, you got it. Repeer from 8 years ago. Wow. I'm like behind the times here. Dang. Anyway, yes, SINE, or NI, absolutely. FETI, completely agree. I don't think he's an extrovert. I think the extroversion for Timothee Chalamet is more so coming from his performance, right? That's his persona. He understands that within that system he needs to be an extrovert when he's being interviewed, because that's how you get attention. He's internally more introverted. When he goes home, I'm sure he just goes and does his own thing. Probably does some crafts as an ISTP, although he wouldn't call them crafts, because probably not. I think also what's interesting about him being an ISTP is even I have this notion of ISTPs being quite masculine, especially for men. And I admit, ISTP is coincidentally, I think, the type I know the least about. And there's not really any reason for that other than I think there's just not a lot of them in my life, and I'm not as connected to that type. So that's, I think, very, very interesting. I'm just going through here looking for anything else. I'm going to zoom forward on this. Nobody seems to think, and I go on to say, okay, what might he be? What would affect him as an ISTP? And I go here, I say, what about his process? To me, his process as an ISTP, as an actor, is going to be very specific and direct. He's not going to go out of his way to necessarily investigate the deeper emotions, but he will focus on portraying the emotions, right? The FE. He knows that's super important. It's going to be driven by the quality of the work, the quality of not just himself, but also others. And I believe actually some of this that goes on to talk about, he talks about working with other people. I think the most interesting thing is I end up on this video at the very end where he's with Steve Carell, and I say, "Hi, Steve Carell, extrovert perceiver." I should do Steve Carell sometime. That'd be fun to do. And he's talking about connecting with the feelings. He's talking about the process. But he doesn't talk about his process. He doesn't talk about himself. And that's super important because, no offense, INFPs, they talk about themselves. Not in an egotistical way, mind you. They talk about themselves because their work is themselves, and they are their work. And there's no separating those two things, right? It's the same thing. With an ISTP, it's going to be different. It's going to be, I'm making something of quality. They care about it as it is. And then I talk about his celebrity, right? He's comfortable being a celebrity. He's not necessarily, I would imagine, not going out of his way to be a celebrity, but he recognizes that he is. He recognizes that he has to give the people what they want, in a sense, especially with that SEFE energy. And then, lastly, I want to close on this. In this interview with Steve Carell, he's wearing this blouse, it's a blouse, with these roses on it, and the vine, and this is the most SE shirt that you could possibly wear. And he looks good, he looks like he just got out of bed. And I know that because I always look like I just got out of bed. But he looks like he meant to look this way. And no, I have to fully, 100%, absolutely admit, Timothee Chalamet, you are an ISTP. I'm talking to everyone else can stop paying attention. I'm talking to you, Timothy. You're an ISTP. That's congratulations. The virtuoso, I remember it being called. Again, I don't know the most about ISTPs, but I know that they are driven, they're precise, persevere. They're persevering. ISTPs are persevering. They're definitely introverts, but they can call on some extroversion in them, especially when it's either a performance or when it's for a purpose. They're doing a purpose. The fact that he talks about being, whatever his quote was, being driven almost to a fault. That's, I think, the most ISTP thing I've ever heard. Also, earlier in the video, he invents that word.
Wake up every morning, I think culmination, integration, like all of us, and fruitionizing, which is
when he's wearing his mustard wife beater, he invents that word. That's what Eminem does every day of his life. He's inventing words. And I'll leave you all with this. The most TI thing that I ever experienced, because I don't have TI, I have TE. And as you can tell, it's not one of my first functions. The most TI thing I ever understood, and this is what helped me finally understand TI, which by the way, ISTPs would be my absolutely perfect conflictor. So it was very difficult for me to understand TI until I understood this. There's a clip of, and I would love to do a whole thing on Eminem. There's a clip of Eminem actually being interviewed by Anderson Cooper, and he says something along the lines of, you know what pisses me off? A lot of people say that you can't rhyme anything with orange. And Anderson's like, oh yeah, well, you can't rhyme anything with orange, I guess. And Eminem's like, nah, you can rhyme a lot of shit with orange. You just gotta like change the way that you say it a little bit.
I put my orange 4-inch door hinge in storage and ate porridge with George.
But that conceptuality of language is not only malleable, but that the sole purpose of language is to express what you mean, what I mean, versus TE, which would be language is about a shared framework of rules so that everyone can express so that everybody can express things in that shared language. Meanwhile, an ISTP comes along and is like, yeah, you can share your language all you want, but here's what I think, and you're gonna understand it whether you like it or not. So anyway, that's T.I., and that's Timothee Chalamet, is an ISTP. Thank you very much. Last thing I want to say is if you thought this was interesting, if you liked this, you can do the things that you do on YouTube with the subscribbles and the lickles and the commizzles. I'm not trying to be a rapper. This is really devolved. I apologize. I was very upset about losing half my video. But hey, that's show business, and the show must go on. But please, yes, like, subscribe, comment. If you think I'm an idiot, if you think I'm wrong about Timothee Chalamet, I wouldn't be surprised. No, I'm confident, but let me know what you think. If you think he's not an ICP, if you think he's an INFP, but you better back it up, because I'm not accepting he played Willy Wonka, and so did, oh my god, I'm totally blanking on, Johnny Depp's name. There it is. Johnny Depp. Like, subscribe if you like this. Also, I'm going to be doing typing. If you're interested in being typed in MBTI or some other system, let me know. And I'll have a website up for you to click on in the description. Also, check out my other videos. See if there's something else interesting that you're curious to learn more about. I hope you all have an absolute beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, night, whenever you're watching this. Let's be honest, it's probably at night because you're probably some kind of intuitive feeler. Introverted intuitive feeler. I'm just saying. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I love you. You're special. You're amazing. No matter who you are. I hope you like my video, everybody. Have a beautiful night. Timothy, congratulations on being